Welcome to the classroom. Today we're talking about sedimentary rocks. What are sedimentary rocks? Well, they are rocks that are composed of fragments of other kinds of rocks. That could be igneous, metamorphic, or even other sedimentary rocks. They get broken down with time and then they get deposited into layers and compressed and cemented together. And that's how we make a sedimentary rock. So what types of sedimentary rocks do we have? Well, we have two main categories, siliclastic and chemically deposited. Siliclastics are rocks that are broken down from silica-based minerals, like our igneous rocks. We break them down and compress them into layers, and that forms our siliclastic sedimentary rocks. What about our chemically deposited rocks? They are evaporites, or carbonates. Evaporites form when the tide goes out and we leave little pools of water behind. The water evaporates and we leave salt deposits behind, and that repeats and we build up layers. There are other kinds of evaporite minerals, but that's a subject for another video. And finally, a different kind of chemically deposited sedimentary rock are carbonates, very well recognized by its shell fragments. If we break up the shell fragments over time, as they wash at the beach back and forth, we can make sand-sized particles that are actually composed of just broken up shell fragments. And when those get deposited and cemented together, they form layers in the rock, and we can identify our carbonates by the shell fragments. You may not always be able to see the shell fragments, and the key test to identifying it in the field is using a bit of hydrochloric acid, and that'll give that fizz that you see when you do it on calcite, because carbonates are made out of calcite. So what are carbonate rocks exactly? How do we identify them in the field? Well, any sedimentary rock, we're looking for two main things to identify them in the field. The first are the bedding planes. We have this limestone block behind me, and you can kind of see some color contrast. It's a bit lighter, a bit darker, a bit lighter, a bit darker. Well, that's actually recording the history of deposition of each of those layers in time. And in sedimentary rocks, those layers, they are horizontally deposited, more or less, okay? And that can work for our siliclastics at the beach. We're depositing layers of sand. You may get wave ripples captured there. May not just be the color contrast, but there is something that indicates we have some layering. And those layers are different from our metamorphic rocks because they are going to be more predominantly horizontal and will have some depositional features recorded there. You'll have to look around many different samples to find all those clues, just like we have to do for our metamorphic rocks. The second thing are the grains. They're going to be different than our igneous or metamorphic rocks. They're going to be like sugar, kind of laid out like a sugar cube. You can kind of see some crystal faces. So those are the two things you're looking for, the grains and the bedding planes. And if you can see those, then you're probably dealing with a sedimentary rock. And if you think it's a limestone, drop a little hydrochloric acid on it and watch for the fizz. So what do we use our sedimentary rocks for? We often are using them for construction purposes. Limestone blocks like this one, they're strong and resistant. We can use them as decorative stone, as barriers. We can support slopes with them and build up a wall. And we often use them for bricks even. Bricks that are a reddish color are actually made from shale. You can get beautiful red shale and you grind it up and compress it into bricks, and that's how we started making bricks. And finally, our evaporites, well, you use table salt probably almost every day, and that's where it comes from. So there are lots of uses for our sedimentary rocks out there. We are actually going to go into another video talking about weathering and erosion. How do we break down rocks into those fragments? And we'll learn more about that in the next video. Thanks for watching.